What is it that you look for if you, as a quarterback, that you're seeing for the first time? What's the first thing you look at with that kid?
The efficiency of his stroke, meaning how he takes the ball back, the sequencing for which it starts to come forward, and how it comes off his hand. And I'm one of the very few that does that. Most would look at their feet. I don't minimize the importance of the feet, and I don't disagree with anybody that talks about how important the feet are, but you can train the feet a lot easier than you can train the stroke. And not everybody knows how to train the stroke, and this is my advantage. Is one, I did my own 10-year study on it, where I evaluated every Pro Bowler or Hall of Famer since '83. Took me about 10 years to do it. I started when I was with the Seattle Seahawks, just as fun, for fun. And when I went to ESPN is when I did a bulk of, finished the work. And I found about 4 or 5 commonalities. Now, I have no biomechanics background. I don't claim to be a biomechanist or mechanics guru, I guess I'll say it that way. But I can understand when the best dudes ever are doing the same exact stuff, that's probably what we should be doing. Then I started asking a lot of questions from really smart people. Well, why? Why does the elbow lead back in football as a quarterback, and in baseball you actually reach the ball back? Why is that? Why does the ball need to be pointed either straight back or slightly down? What's that do to the wrist? What gets the ball to go up? What does your body do to get the ball to go up, and what's the right time for it to go up, and what leads the sequencing? And why, when I watch Rodgers or Marino or Elway or Favre or Bledsoe or whatever it is, they all looks different coming forward, but when I froze it going back, it almost always looked the same. And why higher? Because remember, Jeff Tedford, for as much as I love him, and I think he is a pioneer with quarterbacks, I disagree with the shelf. And where everybody thought that this was faster, why is it when it went lower, it actually came out faster? So I started asking all these questions. And through this process, I discovered Tom House, who for 40 years had been examining exactly these same things in rotational sports. And I owe so much to him, because he was able to, one, I had found the right stuff, I just couldn't properly articulate what it was and how you did it. And Tom shared it with me, which is really his intellectual property. He did not have to do this, but he shared it with me because he knew I wanted to give it away. And he also needed me to explain it in the football context. I was helping him as he was starting to work with the Bradys and the Breezes and the Smiths and the Flaccos, as these guys were coming to him. Yeah, he didn't need me, but me wrapping some football terms around everything helped him. And he knew I was working and training a staff of quarterback trainers around the country. And if he could give me the right terms to train my staff, who's then going to go influence pretty much every young quarterback in America, it was the right thing to do. So Tom's helped me so much, really understand the biomechanics, and that's why I look for what I look for. The feet you can train really easily. If you mess up the upper body, you're going to be compensating. Now, you can be really good at being bad. I don't want to mistake that, okay? You do not have to be pure to be a great quarterback. But my argument is you'll never be as good as you could be. It's that simple. And it's so simple. And I did. As good as Rich Olson and Jeff Tedford were, when I got to the NFL, I got real sloppy. And I go back to all the day, I can close my eyes and shake for all the crappy throws I made. And I can feel the mechanical flaws in those bad throws. And I can see still people have me sign glossies. And it's like this, it's just these wide, not compact, non-efficient movements I made, especially when I was tired, that really cost me a lot of consistency in my career. And I wasn't even close to as good as I could have been. And I don't want other people to go through that. And I think the mechanics is a big part of it. And we touched on something earlier, and I want to come back to this at some other point. Because everything you do to properly develop a quarterback, everything, is ultimately to build his confidence. So when you build his soul, you're helping him develop a deep inner confidence in who he is. When you develop his mind, you're ultimately developing his confidence that he can figure out, I call it figured outness, that he can figure out whatever he needs to be successful tactically. When you're developing both those together, you're also developing his confidence in his ability to lead others in highly emotional situations and in tactical situations. And the mechanics at the end of the day, because you can get really good at being bad, but those guys that are pure, we call like golfers. Those guys that hit in the center of the face all the time and they're always on balance. It's the same thing with pure quarterbacks. They know they can do whatever they want with the ball, which is supreme confidence. So at the end of the day, I use all this holistic training to ultimately just build their confidence. Because if you talk to most quarterbacks that have been incredibly successful and you ask them, gun to your head, what's the most important thing? They're going to say confidence.